Good morning, all. We are just going to give a minute or so just for people to turn up, so do bear with us. But I think I'll make a start and people can join us as they do. Hi, morning. Welcome to today's webinar on partnering with Groundwork to support sustainable local growth. My name is Ashley. I'm part of the development team at Groundwork East, and I'm joined today by my colleague Amy Coulter, our Sustainable Business Services Team Manager, and Anna Martin-Edwards, our Operations Director. So here's what we'll be covering in this morning's webinar. We'll start by introducing Groundwork and our Sustainable Business Services, or SBS team. We'll then go on to explain how the work we do can support your climate action plan objectives. We'll be looking in detail at how the services we offer through our SBS team support and align with particular climate ambitions of local authorities, and discuss some of the business support we provide to organisations that we work with. We'll take a look at some of the business needs that we're seeing throughout our work. Then we'll take a run through of some of our previous programs that we've delivered, the partners we've worked with, and what the outcomes and social value impacts have been from those programs. Finally, we'll share some of the feedback we get from our partners and also our beneficiaries, which will hopefully give some insight into the strengths and quality of our work. At the end of the session, we'll have an opportunity to answer any questions you may have, so please do feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A function, and we'll take a look at these before we wrap up. We'll be recording the session, and we'll share both the recording and the slides with you afterwards. So let's start with a little background about Groundwork. We are from Groundwork East. We're a community environmental charity covering the east of England, who are also part of a nationwide federation of 15 charitable trusts operating under the Groundwork banner. The first trusts were born in the 1980s, including ourselves. It was our 40th anniversary last year. And since our foundation, we've been committed to creating stronger, healthier communities, responsible business, and greater prospects for local people. Some of you may already know us through our community programs and our landscape architecture services, or the grants and funding we deliver, but also we have a team of professional environmental consultants delivering sustainable business services to organisations, supporting them to reduce the environmental impacts of their own activities. It's this side of the work which we're focusing on today. So we have a team of independent and impartial consultants who help businesses and organisations to quantify, understand, and reduce their environmental impact. To do so, they have a range of tools and services under their belt, including carbon management and reporting, environmental training, and our award and sustainable business network, Sustainable Business Membership. As an environmental and community charity, you'll be pleased to hear that we reinvest all of our income into achieving our charitable aims and delivering positive outcomes through community-focused projects. Knowing that we're totally impartial and independent is something our clients and partners really value. And with over 30 years of experience of doing this kind of work across the Groundwork Trusts, our clients benefit from decades worth of experience working with businesses, schools, community organisations, and householders. As a community charity, our partners are able to benefit from our deep and diverse network, enabling us to link businesses into the wider community and environmental initiatives, partnering with local authorities and funders, supporting them to meet their objectives. To give you an idea of the scale of our work, since 2007, through various programs we've designed, developed and delivered, we have supported over 4,300 organisations and identified potential cumulative savings of nearly £19 million and over 128,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent. On average, 24% of the savings that we identify have been realised by the organisations themselves, which equates to over £4.5 million and over 30,000 tonnes of CO2e, which I'm sure you'll agree is a significant net positive contribution to the local environment, as well as the bottom line of the businesses we work with. But we haven't achieved these positive impacts alone. Over the past few years, we have partnered with many local authorities, business support organisations and programmes, some of which you can see listed here. Amy will be sharing some case studies in a moment, but we'll be happy to provide more information about any of these programmes if that be of interest. I'll hand you over to Amy now.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Ash. And I'll take you through the next part of the presentation. So hi, everyone. As you heard, my name's Amy Coulter and I head up the Sustainable Business Services team here at Groundwork East. So I'm going to be starting by exploring how partnering with our Groundwork team can help you to deliver on your key climate action plan objectives. So we know that many local authorities have committed to tackling their own environmental and climate impacts, as well as those within their locality. And this is something that Groundwork has been supporting with over several years now. So we can design, develop and deliver programmes and services that engage with local businesses to promote best practice around climate, can help shift your supply chain towards net zero emissions, and can help reduce emissions from your own buildings and estate. So how do we engage with those local businesses to promote best practice around climate? Well, we can provide independent and impartial support to SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, to help them to identify emissions reductions measures and put in place strategies to reduce these emissions. So this could be through one-to-one support, such as energy efficiency audits and decarbonisation reviews, or through one-to-many delivery, such as developing a resource hub with locally focused and sector-specific guidance, or delivery of training workshops and webinars to help upskill employees to understand and manage their own emissions in-house. So we also have experience through our work in Suffolk and Norfolk of delivering a local sustainable business network, which is the Carbon Charter. And this has an online supplier directory, which enables consumers to purchase from climate conscious businesses, thereby supporting residents to shop locally and sustainably, and to reduce their emissions that way. But also it promotes climate conscious local business to business relationships. Other programs that we work on focus on achieving emissions reductions and best practice through grant programs and low interest loans. So this is where we can really help to unlock financial investment and make sure that the measures that we identify go on to be implemented. And then the other element of promoting that best practice around climate is around building climate resilience. So we've helped design and deliver very successful business resilience toolkit and support service for SMEs who are at risk of disruption due to climate impacts, such as flooding. So if we move on to the supply chain emissions, we're currently working on programs which support local authorities to work with their own supply chains to manage and reduce their emissions, which is a key element of reducing those important Scope 3 emissions coming from across the value chain. And we can do this through one-to-one support to help those suppliers calculate their emissions and to put in place strategies to manage this and reduce these impacts, and also to be able to communicate how they're doing this. And finally, another key area that we're focusing on at present is supporting our partners to tackle emissions coming from things like energy and fuel use on site and their own business fleet. So we can do this through the delivery of on-site energy efficiency audits, where we can identify cost and carbon savings opportunities and returns on investment, with a focus on quick wins and behavioural changes, as well as opportunities for investment and longer-term savings and returns. So with regards to the behaviour change element of this, we have run a successful programme with a local authority a few years ago where we held climate awareness roadshows and some lunch and learn type workshops to help encourage staff to consider the environmental impacts of their work and in their work and across their interactions with their local residents. And we also successfully delivered several carbon literacy courses to council teams with the same aim of sort of making sure that carbon and climate impacts are at the front of their minds when they're delivering their work. And we've also delivered train the trainer courses, allowing them to continue peer-to-peer delivery throughout their organisations. And alongside managing emissions from your own buildings and estates, or your own buildings rather, we can support school estates and public buildings to reduce their emissions through energy assessments, advice and signposting to funding. And where schools are involved, we can also link into the school's climate action plans and deliver teacher training and after-school climate clubs. So we have a poll that we'd like to launch now, which Ash, I think you're going to launch for us, which asks you which of these climate objectives are important to your organisation. So your names were not recorded and you can choose up to 3 of your top options, please. And then once we've done that, you should be able to see the results in the chat. And if you've got anything else you'd like to add to your response, then please do pop that in the chat. Just give you a moment or two to do that. Yeah, I can see some responses coming in. So the top responses seem to be providing that bespoke support to help identify emissions reductions and also upskilling local businesses. But we can take another look at those results in a moment, and we can also share those after today's session. So what do businesses tell us they need? So Ashley mentioned that since 2007, we've supported over 4,000 organisations, and the support we deliver has continued to develop and evolve over this time. We've already looked at what sort of objectives you, our partners, are looking to achieve, but what do we hear from businesses about the support they need and the kind of support that they value? People often think that businesses are just after grant funding, but when we ask our clients what support they need and the benefits that they've had from working with us, one of the main areas that they want help with is around understanding what net zero, decarbonisation, sustainability means for their business. And whilst, of course, there are some net zero and carbon reduction naysayers, the majority of business people we speak to want to fully understand the business imperative for taking climate action, but find it hard to navigate through the maze of jargon and terminology and to understand the various options that are available to them. Added to this is the feeling that the sources of information that they're going to usually come from commercial organisations, which may be simultaneously trying to sell to them. So we see a real demand for the impartial and expert advice which our team can provide, helping them to identify the best course of action for their business and getting information from a truly independent source. Part of this advice includes helping them to understand the costs and benefits of investment and how they can finance this through grant options and low interest loans. And lots of the work we do with businesses includes signposting to financial support wherever this is available. But it's also about looking at returns on investment and payback periods and how they can finance those upfront costs through the savings that they will achieve in running costs. Another key area that business come to us for support with is to develop their own in-house skills and understanding. And to help this, we deliver webinars and workshops, as well as certified training courses such as carbon literacy. Learning alongside others from within their organisation and with individuals from other organisations and sharing their own challenges and successes can really help to drive forward change through increased confidence and understanding. Linked to this are the benefits businesses find in becoming part of a network of like-minded businesses through shared training and networking events and the business-to-business introductions that this can bring for them. And finally, organisations are coming to us to get help with meeting procurement and tendering requirements, which are coming from local authorities, central government and the NHS, as well as larger organisations, the larger commercial organisations. So they need to make sure that they have their house in order so that they can communicate what they're doing to potential clients and wider stakeholders. And what we find interesting, and maybe not too unsurprisingly, is that there's a great deal of overlap between what businesses are telling us they need and the climate action plan objectives that we're seeing communicated by our partner organisations. So this is really good news. So how do Groundwork help with all of this? I've mentioned quite a few of the elements that we include within our delivery programmes, but to summarise our key sustainable business services again, these are carbon management, so greenhouse gas calculations, carbon footprints, those sorts of things, helping organisations understand their impacts and ensuring they're able to communicate that externally. We can carry out energy efficiency, resource efficiency audits, support with net zero strategies, very important supply chain engagement elements, and also grant scheme management and delivery. We've mentioned already our Sustainable Business Membership, which is a sustainability assessment, which leads to an award, bronze, silver or gold for the organisation. And then following that assessment, they have an action plan to work to and access to regular professional support with ongoing learning programmes through webinars and events. And then finally, our environmental training. We deliver those externally accredited courses, carbon literacy, pathways to net zero, also water literacy that we've been delivering recently. But a large element of this is bespoke environmental training and sustainable business training to different types of organisations, whether that's sector specific or cross-sector. We can design and deliver those bespoke workshops and training opportunities. And working in partnership, our programmes can deliver on several key outcomes and deliver additional social value. So that social value being the wider benefits that can be created by our projects for individuals, communities and local businesses. Typically, our programmes can achieve actual or potential carbon savings, and this would be recorded in terms of tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent avoided. We can, of course, record the number of organisations that we support to reduce their impacts and the number of carbon reduction plans or decarbonisation plans created, as well as the number of individuals who've received environmental training or green skills training. Our programmes often also achieve cost savings, usually per year, through reduced energy bills and efficiencies. And where we are delivering grant programmes, we can also unlock matched investment and measure and report on this. And finally, by supporting businesses to become more efficient, more resilient, and helping them to meet customer or grant funding requirements, we can also achieve business growth in terms of numbers of jobs or increased turnover. So I'm going to launch our second and final poll now. And this one looks at which of these outcomes and social values are important to you. And again, names are not going to be recorded, and you can choose up to 3 of those options, which are your top 3, and we can include those in our results. Yeah, they'll be available in the chat afterwards. See some more results coming in, and we can have a look at those again in a moment. Okay, well, moving on, I'm going to take you through a few case study examples, which will hopefully bring to life some of the programmes that we've been talking about. In Suffolk, we have been delivering sustainable business support for many years to businesses, community groups, schools and householders. And a large proportion of this has been in partnership with Suffolk County Council and the Tier 2 local authorities who work together through the Suffolk Climate Change Partnership. We have designed and delivered programmes of support which help organisations to understand their emissions and their wider environmental impacts, and to identify key steps to reduce these, driving sustainable growth across the county. This has been delivered through our independent one-to-one consultancy support, as well as through the delivery of workshops and webinars. And we've also provided support with the delivery of grant applications, and have worked in partnership with the Environment Agency and Suffolk County Council on the development and delivery of the Carbon Charter, which is an environmental award and local sustainable business network. Most of our services are or have been cross-sector, but this year we have also been running a programme focusing specifically on the visitor economy sector, which is our Trailblazers campaign, through which we have delivered a series of workshops and a carbon literacy course alongside production of sector-specific resources and also one-to-one decarbonisation support. More recently, we've also been supporting the council's supply chain by providing bespoke decarbonisation advice with the aim of reducing the council's Scope 3 emissions from their suppliers, and also supporting local businesses to meet the requirements of Suffolk County Council's climate change commercial ask. And since 2022, we've supported over 1,210 organisations or SMEs across Suffolk, identifying savings of over £3.4 million and 13,500 tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent. And this has been achieved through working with a range of partners in Suffolk, which includes the local authorities that I mentioned, but also we've worked with the Suffolk Chamber of Commerce, the New Anglia Growth Hub, as well as some larger local businesses such as the East of England Co-op, who are a partner on our Carbon Charter scheme. On to another programme that we've delivered in North Norfolk in 2024 to 25. We worked with North Norfolk District Council's Economic Development team to support their local SMEs and community organisations with decarbonisation and supporting sustainable growth. We helped them access the UK government shared prosperity funding, and although the council didn't have much history of providing environmental advice or support to its local businesses, we helped them to carry out a significant amount of initial engagement with those businesses, and we actually supported over 330 businesses in total, and this was through a series of online workshops focusing on supporting organisations to understand their emissions, where those emissions are coming from within their activities, and what steps they could put in place to reduce these. One of these webinars we delivered in partnership with Visit North Norfolk, because they were very keen to support their members, and the council had recognised that the local visitor economy is a key part of the economy in North Norfolk, and so they wanted to support that sector specifically. We also tapped into support organisations in the manufacturing sector as well in that area. So we supported 71 organisations through developing decarbonisation plans, coming up with appropriate actions that they could undertake to reduce their emissions, and identifying nearly 12,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions reductions per year. We were also able to support 9 organisations to implement some of their decarbonisation measures through an energy efficiency grant programme that we designed and delivered in partnership with the council. And through this, we supported a range of different projects. You can see a picture of one of them here, which was an engine upgrade from petrol to electric for a boat or a boat trip business in North Norfolk going out on the Norfolk Broads. So obviously there were also some co-benefits there, much quieter, less polluting engine. And another example from the tourism sector again was a pool cover for Holiday Centre's pool, which was actually being heated by oil. So there were significant savings that we could help them achieve through improving efficiency there. And the grant pot allowed us to unlock over £73,000 worth of matched investment, as well as a whole range of co-benefits and social value by supporting jobs, as well as achieving those actual carbon savings of 68 tonnes of carbon dioxide per year. And finally, with this project, we also supported 22 businesses to join the Carbon Charter Sustainable Business Network, which ensured they had some ongoing support, and there was a legacy from this year-long project. So all in all, it was a really great programme to have been involved with. It was very varied and very rewarding, and we got great feedback from our businesses. I'll just quickly take you through one last case study through which we delivered grant support with Cheshire West and Chester Council. The programme consisted of 3 core elements, which was the grant support for low carbon on decarbonisation projects. There was also funded decarbonisation audits available and some events providing specialist advice to support businesses' progress to net zero, and also funded net zero training and mentoring to support businesses to create their own net zero strategies. Through the programme, we supported 32 SMEs, and from this, we delivered 24 grant projects, which led to an amazing 29,000 metres squared of solar PV being installed on commercial property in the area. And we delivered an in-person, externally accredited Pathways to Net Zero training course. And some of those participants then received ongoing mentorship and access to the Groundwork Sustainable Business Membership Network, which provided them with further resources and peer learning opportunities. So this brings us to the final element of support, which I wanted to highlight to you today, which is our Groundwork Sustainable Business Membership Assessment and Sustainable Business Network. So this is a sustainability assessment which goes beyond environmental impacts. So it also looks at social responsibility, stakeholder engagement, operational efficiency and governance. And once we've carried out the initial assessment with an organisation, they are provided with an overall score and an award. And importantly, they get an action plan which covers all of those areas and helps guide their next steps. And they then have the opportunity to attend our regular webinars and our drop-in sessions with our consultants, where they can get support to progress sustainability across their organisation. So to finish up, I just wanted to share with you some of the things that our partners and clients say about us. We have a quote here from one of our key partners at Suffolk County Council, Ned Harrison, which he has freely provided with no pressure applied from our side. And he says, Groundwork have been flexible in developing new products to meet our changing requirements, and having consistent local expertise has added hugely to the value Suffolk businesses receive from these services. The feedback we get shows how much the team of expert advisors at Groundwork are valued. So that's always very nice to hear. Part of our programme management and delivery is the evaluation of our services and the feedback we receive from our clients and our beneficiaries. An independent third-party review of one of our larger projects, the Business Energy Efficiency Anglia programme, which concluded in 2022, found that 97% of businesses we worked with rated the Groundwork site visit as good or excellent, 93% found recommendations easy to follow, and 75% identified good or excellent savings opportunities within their operations. So we have a short video to watch now, and I'll play that, and that will give you an opportunity to hear from some of our clients in their own words. But please do also use this time, if you'd like to submit any questions in the Q&A, because we can have a few minutes after the video to respond to your questions. Great, so that's it for our presentation. I hope you feel excited by the material that we've covered. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have now, and we Anna will be able to join us on the call here today to take some questions too. But I'm also very happy to meet with anyone one-to-one, and you can contact us through our website, groundworksbs.org.uk, and I'll be, as I say, happy to meet with you and go through some of the options.
I've got one question come through here from Paula. How do you find the growth of AI is affecting carbon reduction?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it's really, in terms of how it's affecting businesses and their emissions, it's really very early days to be able to tell that. We are now working with organisations to understand those IT emissions and how those are changing over time. So we've seen a big move away. A lot of organisations had their own servers on site, and those had high energy needs. And then they moved to the cloud, and we saw their own emissions decline, but that was essentially because they weren't considering those sort of offsite emissions. Now, as environmental reporting is developing further, we're now seeing that actually we need to be including those offsite sort of scope 3 emissions. And so we're looking at ways that we can accurately measure those. So I think as I say, it's early days. I think there could be benefits in terms of how people are working and that side of things, but obviously there are serious impacts coming from the use of AI. But I have actually been looking at this recently at the various the different sort of services and options that you have for different activities around AI, and the carbon footprint of different providers is quite interesting to see. And we are obviously seeing a big move towards those data centers being powered by renewable energy. But as I say, I don't think we've got any, we can draw any conclusions at the moment, but it's definitely one to watch and one that we're working on in terms of the environmental reporting and carbon footprint calculations.
Yeah, thanks, Paula. One from Becky here saying, how are you getting companies to come on board to your programs?
So through a range of methods, really. We have, in the last few years, we have certainly upped our game on the social media side of things, and we have been doing a lot of marketing to make sure that organisations where we have these programs running are aware that this support is available. So we do a lot of tapping into local Facebook groups and that sort of thing on the social media side of things. We also work with, wherever we can, we work with other business support organisations. So that might be the local growth hub, it might be other, for instance, the local authorities, economic development teams that already have contacts. And so we'll make sure that we're tapping into all of those routes to get the message in front of those businesses. And we also do, we run quite a few of these sort of light touch webinars where we can introduce the ideas or the topics that we're going to be working on, and then go on to support in more depth with those organisations who feel there's actually a need within their business.
It's probably worth also adding, I mean, we have an in-house comms team who help develop tailored marketing plans for each programme we're running. And we do find, in particular, having local authority backing and a call to action with such programmes really does have an impact also to getting that sign up.
Thanks for the question, Becky. Got another one here from Chris. Will the ending of UK SPF funding impact on the programmes you deliver to businesses?
The short answer is probably yes. Because as you may be aware, we're now sort of coming to the end of that tranche of funding, and we have delivered several of those UK SPF programmes. What it has allowed us to do is to get the word out to a large number of organisations across those areas. So wherever possible, we're trying to continue that support through our sustainable business networks, so they can join the network and then benefit from that ongoing support available to them. But yes, in terms of finding that sort of funding for partnership working, I think the honest response is probably yes, because we're not quite sure what might be following. Did you want to add anything, Emma?
No, I think that's a fair summary.
I think unless there's any last minute quick questions to come in, that's all that we've received.
Okay, That's great. So just as a reminder, I will be sending out the slides to everybody that's signed up today, and there will be a recording available if you want to rewatch any of that. And if anyone wants to get in direct contact, please do so via the Groundwork SBS website, and we'll get straight back to you to arrange a time to meet.